Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A former highway superintendent from Minnehaha County will be heading to jail for embezzling thousands of dollars. A judge sentenced DJ Boothie to 100 days for stealing money from the South Dakota Association of Highway Superintendents when he served as the organization's secretary-treasurer.
In court, Boothie said he used the association's credit card to purchase gifts, food, and travel for himself and his family. Boothie has since paid all the money back as part of restitution that totaled more than $127,000. He will report to jail on April 1st. The Sioux Falls woman behind the 40-year-old baby Andrew cold case has been granted parole. In 2019, DNA technology showed Teresa Bentas was the mother of a baby boy born in 1981 who was abandoned in a ditch. She pleaded guilty last year to first-degree manslaughter under what is called an Alford plea.
Now, that plea allows a defendant to maintain her innocence while authorizing the court to enter a guilty plea. A judge sentenced her to 10 years in prison with 9 of those years suspended. Bentas's parole is effective immediately, though her actual release date could be a couple of weeks away yet. A grand jury has indicted a Lincoln County man on charges of domestic assault in connection with a woman's death. At this point, Jackson Phillips is only accused of hurting Randy Gerlach in the days leading up to her death. Phillips is not charged with killing her.
Earlier this month, authorities were called to a home near Highway 11 and 270th Street. That's where they found Gerlach's body. Authorities say there could be more charges in the case. A Sioux Falls man is suing Smithfield over chemical burns to his hands. Court documents say in October 2020, Adam Long, who was working as a UPS driver, was picking up packages at Smithfield.
The court papers say a heavy-duty cleaner had dripped from the vent onto a pallet where Long was collecting the packages. Long says the cleaner caused chemical burns to his hands. The complaint does not say how much money the lawsuit is seeking.
Turning to weather now with meteorologist Adam Rutt. Warm today, but even warmer tomorrow, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be decently warm as we head through the next couple of days. The first day of spring even could be in the ballpark of setting a couple of records in a few locations. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, though, we're off to a very nice start to the day out there. 32 degrees with cloud cover over Sioux Falls. That's a view to the west by southwest, a north wind at 7 miles per hour. From there, much of the area is just pretty quiet. I think that's the best way to put it. Not much of a breeze to speak of. Temperatures mainly in the 20s, though a few teens in Huron and Phillip, and a few 30s out there toward Worthington, Spencer, and up into Sisseton as well. In fact, much of the region, we're really not seeing much in the way of chillier temperatures. We even see 30s out toward the Twin Cities and even into Fargo. Satellite and radar not showing a whole lot as well. Cloud cover over Sioux Falls, Yankton, and Madison, but we are seeing some reports of fog out there in a couple of areas up to the northeast and even in the Miller area as well. So keep that in mind as you go about the start of your day. We do have active weather to talk about, though, after the first day of spring. More details on that with meteorologist Brian Karstens with the 7-day forecast.
All right, thank you very much, Adam. Well, Miss Art World South Dakota is celebrating her birthday in a unique way.
Claire Lockhart wanted to get the community involved in her birthday party this year by hosting an open house art party in Vermilion. Her work, Femininity in the Post-Apocalypse, will be on display at the event.
It's a way to celebrate the accomplishments and survivor skills that women have. Part of this is because in a lot of media, there's a lack of women representation and strong women role models.
The art party is tomorrow from 6 to 9 at the Washington Street Art Center. Happening later today, Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenhaken says he will have an update on the downtown development project.
KELOLAND News will be at the news conference this afternoon and bring you the latest details on air and online. Well, St. Patrick's Day may be over, but Sioux Falls isn't done celebrating. Tomorrow, the St. Patrick's Day Parade will return to downtown after having to cancel 2 years in a row due to COVID.
The painting of the Shamrock is set for 11 a.m. on Saturday in front of Mrs. Murphy's Irish Store. The parade kicks off at 2 p.m. along Phillips Avenue. And something else to celebrate this weekend, the start of golfing season.
Elmwood Golf Course in Sioux Falls opened on Thursday thanks to the recent warm weather. However, the golf courses at Keene Park and Prairie Green are still closed.
And for the fourth consecutive year, the USD women are in the NCAA tournament. The Coyotes are in Waco, Texas for their first round matchup with Ole Miss. That game tips off at 12:30 this afternoon.
KELOLAND's Grant Sweeter is in Texas with the team and will have full coverage leading up to the game. If you're unable to watch the action, you can follow along with our live blog right here on KELOLAND.com.
Let's look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Good morning, Brian.
All right, as we look at your weekend, we'll start today. Pleasant weather, 50s from Sioux Falls and points west. A couple of locations could even hit 60 today in south central KELOLAND. Storm system in Iowa with some rain and some morning snow continues its track off to the northeast. So behind that, we're really going to up the ante here going into the weekend. 60-degree weather, very likely on Saturday. And if that's not warm enough, on Sunday. We're into the 70s for a few locations. I would expect Yankton probably at least at about 75. One problem here, at least something to keep in the back of your mind, is this southerly wind transporting, at least at this point initially, drier air. And so it is a setup that the fire weather concerns are still out there. We'll watch that important rain and snow developing to our southwest on Monday. We do introduce at least a little rain on Monday's forecast, and I think that Tuesday into Wednesday looks a little more promising for rain. Southeast KELOLAND, we like the odds of this. We are a little more uncertain for Pierre and Rapid City. We still have some disagreements or at least some variations on how this plays out. Let me show you how the layout looks on the European model. See that cutoff line? It's pretty sharp this morning, running from central Nebraska into eastern South Dakota. So this is more bullish east of the James Valley. The American counterpart here, though, on the modeling is definitely better if you like the odds going back to the Black Hills. So now, I wish this were flip-flop because I will tell you the European model probably has a little more of a grasp on this, but again, there may be a compromise and I could still see some of this fluctuating. So that's what March is all about. We see a lot of times in March these systems will do that. So today, well, the easy part of the forecast, sunshine and those upper 50s and low 60s common in central KELOLAND. The weekend in view looks pretty straightforward. Low 60s tomorrow, Sioux Falls. Upper 60s to near 70 on Sunday. Monday still mild at 65, and then the rain begins there Monday night into Tuesday. Now, for Sioux Falls, getting a half an inch of rain is something we're watching. I think we've got a good shot at least getting something like that, and I think even Aberdeen could pick up some measurable rain here. Also, keep in mind with March systems, if we get moisture at night when it's around 30, you bet it could snow, too. We won't throw that out yet either. I think there'll be more to say on that. Pierre, again, your chances are there. They're not quite as high as Aberdeen or Sioux Falls, and that's also the similar trend for Rapid City. We want to include some, but again, if that European track verifies them, we're probably going to have to downplay those more in the Black Hills. So stay tuned. More weather coverage online at KELOLAND.com.